Okay, we're back with the so not requested, but I'm so in love with it, so I'm gonna keep going. Tortured Poets Department. So let's get into it. I'm gonna try my best. Let's talk a little bit before I get started. I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a poet. And I love YouTube though. I've always loved it. I've done on and off YouTube since I was like 12, 13, but nothing serious. I never stuck to it. And now I'm sticking to it because promoting my book and all of that stuff. Go check out all of my books and all of that stuff in the description and Spotify, TikTok, so on. Yeah, so I'm going to screen record on my phone so you'll have the lyrics on the side. Because I'm going to try to speak more clearly, but I'm trying to get better at this art form. I'm going to take away the quotation marks and let's get into it. The smoke cloud billows out his mouth like a freight train through a small town. The jokes that he told across the bar were revolting and far too loud. They shake their heads, saying, God help her, when I tell them he's my man. Tell them he's my man, but your good Lord doesn't need to. Lift a finger. I can fix him. Wow. There's something interesting in selective arrogance, and I'm not saying Taylor Swift is arrogant, but most people will be like, be humble. Not everyone, obviously. And I'm not a huge fan of humility in the sense of, if you're good at something, say you're good at it. It's so weird because now people will say, oh, are you really bad at it? Or are you someone who says you're bad at it, but you're actually good at it? And that's a valid question. I'm not disvaluing the question, but it is like, why do we have to like jump around? If you're good at it, just say you're good at it. And if you're bad at it, say you're bad at it. And yeah, but selective arrogance, getting back to the original point, is when someone will be humble about everything, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, but I can fix this whole other person. I don't even need God, is what she's saying. I can fix it, which is so interesting. And I think a lot of people who classify themselves as like fixers are very humble and very normal and very rational in other areas. Not always, but then in that one area, they're like, you know what? I can do this. Who needs anything else except me? No, really, I can. And only I can. The dopamine races through his brain on a 6-lane Texas highway, his hand so callous from his pistol, soft traces, hearts on my face, and I could see it from a mile away, a perfect case for my certain skill set. He had a halo of the highest grace, he just hadn't met me yet. Interesting. This almost opens up the debate of, is someone good? So I had a couple of philosophy classes in high school and they clearly stuck with me because I referenced them a lot. But one of them was two things. They would always start with the fundamental beliefs of the philosophers, and then sometimes they'd pull from their personal life. So I don't know who it was, but one of the philosophers hated women and thought women were like the root of all evil. Red pill. Not all red pill, but some are red pill. And then they traced it back to the fact that he had a really horrible relationship with his mother. I don't even know if this is accurate in the sense of it could have been something else, but the way they presented it, it made sense. So they always started with fundamental beliefs. And one of the big fundamental beliefs that they all started off with was, are humans a blank slate or are they not? And that carried on to, are humans fundamentally good or fundamentally bad? Everyone has a different opinion on this. And I would ask you the question if you have an answer. Do you think humans are fundamentally good or fundamentally bad? I'll give you my opinion and why I base it around that. I think humans are fundamentally good, like born good is what I say with fundamentally. I don't think they're born a blank slate, but I do think they're born good. However, that would mean, oh my God, you're so understanding. I'm not. I'm not ununderstanding. I'm about as understanding as Stassi Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules. I'm about as understanding as that. But what I mean with I think humans are fundamentally good is if you then do choose to be bad, in whatever extent that is, because there's doing bad things and then there's doing bad things to the extent of like that's your character, so it's not one or the other. It can be in the middle, but it can also be one or the other. I love the metaphor. It can be black, it can be white, it can be gray. I don't think everything can be gray. I think it is a ridiculous idea that everything is gray, because if everything is complex, nothing is complex. If everything is something, nothing is anything. That's why you see contrast. How do you know this is white and this is brown, my hand? You're like, I don't know, I don't see colors, I'm not a racist. No, but how do you see the difference? Because there's contrast. How do you see the difference between anything? Because there's contrast. Anyways. But that means when someone does something horrible, I'm like, no, that was your choice. It's not like you were fundamentally so messed up that you couldn't have chosen something else. No. I don't believe in that. I am 22, so there's tons of time to grow and learn. Maybe this fundamental belief will change. I highly doubt it, but so does everyone. Always. Nobody believes in something strongly and it's like, but it will change soon. Like, that's not the way it will go. So, next thing. They shake their heads, saying, God help her. When I tell them my man... Okay, this is the chorus again. Good boy, that's right. Come close, I'll show you heaven. If you'll be an angel all night, trust me, I can handle me a dangerous man. No, really, I can. She does have this coming back to a dangerous man in I Knew You Were Trouble When You Walked In. I think the song is called Trouble, or the song Style. And that is also funny with the last name. Inventative, but also very straightforward. So she does have this like bad boy trope going back and forth, which I think is common, I guess. But she does it in a way that doesn't feel common. Does that make sense? I've said that in my art course as well. It is not always that you have to look at new things. Sometimes you need new ways to look at the same things. Anyways, let's continue. They shook their heads, saying, God help her, when I told them he's my man. But your good Lord didn't need to lift a finger. I can fix him. No, really, I can. Whoa, maybe I can't. I love that. I think what Taylor Swift does really, really well is take you through the evolution of an emotion. And even in one emotion, there's an evolution of it. Not just in separate emotions. Like they say, the stages of grief. I don't even know the 5 stages by heart. I'm always in denial, and then I'm over it. I just deny my way through it. No, I'm joking. But, am I joking? Probably. Who knows? Read my books, find out. Anyways. But the evolution of an emotion is the most interesting. It is not just the stages of grief. It is not just anger, sadness, denial, whatever, happiness, whatever. It's not just the like shallow ends of emotions and tipping through those, but it is the evolution of the emotion itself, of anger, of the building up of this pathology of anger. You build up towards someone, and then the anger kind of fades away because you ate food, you had a nap, something really ridiculous and benign, which again pisses you off. You're like, really, all of my logic, all of my sound, factual facts in my brain that my brain made up, that I didn't acknowledge my brain made up, can all just disappear when I take a nap? Really? When I drink water? And it almost makes you more infuriated. But that is the evolution of emotions itself, and that is the human experience. It is not tipping through emotions quickly. It is feeling that emotion throughout the day, feeling that emotion throughout the life, feeling that emotion throughout a conversation. That is an emotion. The emotion is not, I found it, I can say what it is. The emotion is actually the feeling and the ups and downs, the waves of the emotions. There's waves of emotions and the wave in the emotion. The wave of anger. And then there's the wave of anger, happiness, blah, blah, blah. But the wave of that is a very specific feeling, and she does that so well. She really does. Let's continue. Next one. Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we know the steps anyway? We embroidered the memories of the time I was away stitching. We were just kids, babe, I said. I don't mind. It takes time. I also would love, this has nothing to do, but because she was talking about waltzing, and Sabrina Carpenter also had a song where she was talking about getting back into the rhythm of a relationship really quickly. I would love to do the Sabrina Carpenter's album. I will probably do that. I'm gonna stop asking for requests because I kind of end up doing what I feel like anyways. But you can always request. I'm so open to ideas. But just because you don't request does not mean I don't turn it into a series. That's what you get when you get a poet, where it's like, yes, will you like it? Hopefully. Will I love it? Yes. I thought I was better, safe, than starry-eyed. I felt a glow like this, never before and never since. If you know it is one glimpse, it's legendary. You and I go for one kiss to get married. This is interesting. If you know it is one glimpse, it is legendary. There is something really interesting about moments. And I'm sure there's a science to it, but there's also a feeling to moments. And that sometimes the best times in your life are very short. And I've had poems about that, and me debating back and forth between, are the short moments the beautiful ones because they're rare, or are they beautiful because they were rare? Does that make sense? Let's do it again. Are the beautiful moments rare, and therefore they're short? Or is what makes them rare that they're short? There we go. So I have poems about that all over the place. If you know it is still alive, killing time at the cemetery, never quite buried. That's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor for something not being quite done, but being dead. Like a relationship basically being at the foundation level that it should be broken up, but it's not dead yet. She mentions death a lot in this album, so many times. I'm gonna do other albums, I am sure. I would love to have like Sunday be the day where I talk about albums. I would love to do this with a friend. I would love to have a record player and just talk about every single lyric with somebody. So that's what we're doing, and I hope you're enjoying it too. But I wonder if in past albums, and I guess we'll see when they go, and in the album that just came out now, if she tackles death that much, or if this was kind of her renaissance, if this was kind of her, not renaissance, but the next album was her renaissance, and this album was kind of her death, her reincarnation, her rebirth. There we go, until I find the right word. You'd think I'm a poet. In your suit and tie, in the nick of time, you low down boy, you stand up guy. You Holy Ghost, you told me, I'm the love of your life. You said I'm the love of your life about 1,000,000 times. Who's gonna tell me the truth when you blew in with the winds of fate and told me I reformed you? When your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes. That's interesting. His interpretation of the future turned out to be fake is what I would get from that sentence. I also know there's a way to get lyrics where they give you like hints of her own life, but I prefer to think for myself. Well, you took me to hell, and all at once, the ink bleeds. The ink bleeds. The love letters turned into lies is what I would interpret that as. A con man sells a fool, a get love quick scheme, but I've felt a hole like this. But I've never felt a hole like this. No, but I've felt a hole like this, never before and ever since. If you know it is one glimpse, it's legendary. What we thought was for all time was momentary. Still alive, killing time at the cemetery. Never quite buried. You sin file in black and white. All those plot twists and dynamite. Mr. Steal your girl and then make her cry. You said I'm the love of your life. I think this is a bridge that's coming up. I think this is interesting. I think the concept of love of your life is super interesting. I've tackled it. I was boxing with the concept. No. Could you imagine me actually tackling someone? Anyways, I've read through it. No, that's also not what I meant. I was writing about it a lot in my poetry book. In the first one especially. I think teenagers just lend themselves to words questioning. I think I just tend to be someone who questions everything all the time. I could ask almost anybody 1,000 questions. I would actually let me know in the comments if you would be interested in this. I would love to interview people with normal jobs. Like teachers or psychologists or like these things, but not the famous one, just like normal. Just so that people, not now, but maybe like next September or before school starts or May when people graduate, so that people can get a better understanding of those jobs. I don't know. I think that would be interesting. Anyways, let's get back into it. You should talk to me under the table. Let me know if you're interested in the comments about that. Taking rings and talking cradles. Talking rings and talking cradles. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. What is also really nice with her album now, I'm so glad I'm reacting to it now and not a year ago, is because she's happy now and she's getting married and all of that stuff. And I think that's why writing down sadness is so beautiful, because it's connection. You're never going to connect with someone over happiness the same way you are over sadness as quickly. I don't know why that is. And I don't know if that's a fact or if it's just a virtue of being sad. Like if you were as happy as you were sad, maybe that wouldn't be true. And it is also so beautiful because then you can read back, like even I've read back poems and I'm like, okay, I don't know what you were going through. I don't know who this is about, but I'm glad you got over it. And it's nice to see her life and to get to react to this and really get to just dive in and go for it because she's doing well. I know she doesn't care and it's not like this video would keep her up at night, but still, it is just a human to human level. It is much nicer to react to these things and to really get into the nitty gritty of metaphors and situations or whatever when you know the person's out of that. It just is. Okay, dancing phantoms on the terrace. Are they secondhand embarrassed that I can't get you out of bed? 'Cause something's counterfeits death. 'Cause something's counterfeits death. Yeah, there's this constant metaphor of death, which feels like the constant metaphor of ends. Like there's these looming ends of things coming up again and again and again. In the sense of a graveyard, in the sense of death, in the sense of ends, in the sense of beds. And it's kind of never happening. And you almost, because I've read through quite a bit of them now, you almost feel like there's this like resistance to what is. It was legendary, it was momentary, it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary, should have let it stay buried. Can you tell I have dyslexia? I do. So if you're like, why is a poet reading so badly? That is why. Whoever made me, whatever religion you believe in, whatever, they must have had fun. Because they're like, you know what? We'll let her write really well, but getting the writing to be grammatically correct will make it difficult. Anyways, what a violent roar, what a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion. It's a good sentence. I'm combing through the braids of lies. That's a good metaphor for lies. Braids of lies. Because they're always so codependent on other things. If you watch enough reality TV, which I do, there are so many people on reality TV who lie so much. And it is so interesting because the ROI on lying is zero on reality TV. It's zero in life too, just morally and long run and your own conscience, and the list is endless. But it is even worse on reality TV. Like, even if you're a bad person, why do that on reality TV? Because you're being filmed. Like, it's not like you can deny this. And so you see how codependent lies are. The truth is quite independent. You can say a fact and you don't have to kind of mesh it together with other things, but lies are quite codependent. I never leave, never mind. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire, your oceans match your somber eyes, and I still see it until I die. You're the loss of my life. Oh, that's beautiful. The loss of my life, substituting the love of my life. This is why we need dramatic people in the world. There's a lot of jobs dramatic people should not be doing, but this is one. That was beautiful. Okay, next one. I can do it with a broken heart. Oh, the next one that's coming up is the smallest man who's ever lived. Imagine having a Taylor Swift song written about you and knowing it's about you. And someone being like, oh, cool, which one? And you're like, the smallest man who's ever lived. You might as well not tell anyone. Anyways, let's go. I can read your mind. She's having the time of her life. There in her glittering prime, the lights refractor sequin stars of her silhouette every night. I can show you lies. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm a real tough kid. I can handle my shit. They said, babe, you gotta fake it till you make it, and I did. Lights, camera, bitch, smile, even when you wanna die. Death is such a thing. Let me know if you're a hardcore Swiftie. Did she talk about death in any album this much? He said he loved me all his life, but that life was too short. Breaking down, I hit the floor. Oh, I love that sentence. He said he loved me all his life, but that life was too short. All the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. I was grinning like I'm winning. I was hitting my marks, because I can do it with a broken heart. I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday every day. Oh, I love my birthday. That's so unnecessary information, but I love my birthday. I'm obsessed with it. I wanted to have my poetry book and my fiction book out on my birthday, so I finished everything on time. I had a copy written on time, and then of course the copyright place took centuries. And so it was published way later. It's fine. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of life, but I don't love that. Anyways, because it would have matched so well. 2 books, turning 22, whatever. I'm so obsessed with him, he avoids me like the plague. I love how honest she is, and I think there's something interesting, like this loop of pride that people go under, which is, I can never be rejected by somebody. And the fact that you can never be rejected, like the mentality of I can never be rejected by somebody, means that you are placing kind of all of your value, or a lot of your value, or a lot of your identity, better put, on being accepted by people when they don't know you as well as you do. And sometimes you're just not compatible, whatever. But I think there's a deeper amount of confidence to be like, well, they just hated me and I was obsessed. Now, does that long term we're into like, hey, self-respect, like don't do this forever, for sure. But there is an amount of confidence that goes into like the ability to accurately report unrequited love. I cry a lot, but I am so productive. It's an art. I love that. I should have that somewhere out. You know you're good when you can even do it with a broken heart. There's like posters of Taylor Swift lyrics that say something along the lines of different ways Taylor Swift says I love you, and it's so cool. I really wanted it. I don't remember why I couldn't get it, but if you are into that kind of stuff, I think that is so cool to have as in your room decor. I can hold my breath. I've been doing it since he left. Oh, I keep finding things in drawers, crucial evidence I didn't imagine the whole thing. I'm sure I can pass this test. That is interesting. The more you research, and I have done minimal, if none, of research about memory, but a friend once told me about memory and how bad human memory is, and that is frightening, and I'm sure that is also frightening when you're remembering the past and kind of trying to hold on to it and you're not sure how accurate it is, because it's already not accurate because it's your emotions, it's your side of the story, and then not even to know if it is how you felt. Life, I tell you. Because I'm a real tough kid, I can handle my shit. I can never swear normally. They said, babe, you gotta fake it till you make it, and I did. Okay, this is the chorus. Because I'm miserable and nobody even knows it. Try and come for my job. Well, the smallest man. The smallest man. I feel like I should have an accent saying that, but I don't. Do I have an accent? If you had to guess where I'm from, leave it in the comments. I feel like I have the least interesting accent in the world. It is like standard boring. It is like oatmeal. And I grew up majority of my life in Austria. I don't have an Austrian accent. Oh, that would be so fun. I would sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That would be so funny, but it would also be weird because I'm not a man, so I would not sound exactly like that. And yeah, but I don't have an accent. And I don't have like a really like proper like American accent either, I think. And I certainly don't have a British accent. So I'm just over here being boring. That's why I had to be intelligent, because the accent was not gonna help me. And funny. Okay, was any of it true? Glazing at me starry-eyed. It's your Jehovah Witness suit. What is... Okay. Who the fuck was that guy? You tried to buy some pills from a friend of friends of mine. They just ghosted you. Now you know what it feels like. And I don't even want you back. I just want to know if rusting my sparkling summer was the goal. Rusting my sparkling summer was the goal. And I don't miss what we had, but could someone give a message to the smallest man who's ever lived? You hung me on your wall, stabbed me with your push pins, in public showed me off, then sank in stone oblivion. Wow, the tea. Once your queen had come, you treat her like an also ran. You didn't measure up in any measure of a man, and I don't even want you back. I just want to know if rusting... This is the chorus. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Dead. Should we start a drinking game? I don't drink, so I don't know if I want to push drinking on you. But of counting how many times she says dead? I would love to do a shopping game, but that I also don't want to influence you badly. But if I ever was going to do a game, I'd do a shopping game. Like all of the things on your Amazon cart, each time they name one thing, you buy it. Please only do this if it's safe to do. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Were you writing a book? Ooh. where you a sleeper cell spy, and 50 years will all this be declassified. And you'll confess why you did it, and I'll say good riddance. Because it wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. That is interesting. That is really interesting. The concept of forbidden love and how much impact it has on love itself. And I wonder how much it actually does. I think it has more of an impact than the philosophy of some people who say you push people into each other, like, I don't know, someone who's jealous and then they push people together. I don't think you can push anyone together. I just don't believe in that. I don't think feelings work like that at all. And if anything, if you push people together, they end up repelling more. So that's that. But I do think there's an element of, it's another emotion. I've talked about this a lot, where I think a lot of emotions get confused with love, and it might be excitement, but it might not be love. But because it's another emotion, it might amplify the emotion you already have, or you might call it the wrong thing. I would have died for your sins. Instead, I just died inside. Some things are so sad, it makes you instantly laugh, and I don't know why that is my reaction. But it is. You deserve prison, but you won't get time. You'll slide into inboxes and slip through the bars. You crashed my party and your rental car. You said normal girls were boring. What is normal girls? What is the standard girl? Wearing pink? Wearing this, probably. This is why I don't own mirrors. No, I do, but some jokes I make are just not funny. Anyways, but you were gone by the morning. You kicked out the stage lights, but you are still performing. And in plain sight, you hid. You are what you did. Ooh. You are what you did. I like that sentence. And I'll forget you, but I'll never forgive the smallest man who ever lived.